Long ago, in the days when Israel thrived under Roman rule, life was a tapestry of contrasts. Cities bustled with trade, worship, and community, yet the roads between them were fraught with danger. Amid this backdrop, the hearts of many had grown cold, their love confined to those within their circle. And so, one day, in the heart of this ancient land, a question arose. A question meant not to seek wisdom, but to test the great teacher.
Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?
His voice carried a mix of respect and skepticism. He was a man of the law, versed in its nuances. Yet his question sought to probe, not to understand.
What is written in the law? How do you read it?
The teacher's response was simple, yet profound. He turned the question back, inviting the lawyer to reflect on the truths he already knew.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself.
You have answered correctly, and do this one and you will live.
But the lawyer was not content. His heart, like so many others, sought to narrow the scope of love. Who, after all, could truly be called a neighbor?
But who is my neighbor?
And so, the teacher began to answer, not with a lecture, but with a story. A story that would challenge the boundaries of compassion and redefine what it means to love. The road from Jerusalem to Jericho was not for the faint of heart. A treacherous path, its winding trails carved through a wilderness fraught with danger. It was a haunt for thieves and shadows, where few ventured without fear. Yet, for one man, the promise of opportunity outweighed the peril. With each step, the traveler's resolve was tested. He walked alone, his heart steady, unaware that in the shadows, unseen eyes watched his every move. Beaten, robbed, and abandoned, the traveler lay helpless under the scorching sun. His body, battered and bruised, bore witness to the cruelty of men. His cries, once full of life, were now but whispers lost in the vast emptiness of the wilderness. Alone on the road, his life hung by a thread, a stark reminder of how easily hope could wither when compassion was absent. By chance, a priest, a man of the temple, entrusted with the sacred duties of the Lord, came upon the scene. He was one who knew the law, who recited its words with fervor and offered sacrifices on behalf of the people. But in that moment, his steps betrayed him. Perhaps fear gripped his heart, whispering of danger in the wilderness. Perhaps pride blinded his eyes, reminding him of his status and the inconvenience of the suffering before him. Whatever the reason, the priest turned away. He hurried past, leaving the man to suffer. A life lay in the balance, yet the priest, who knew the words of compassion, chose self-preservation over love. And so, the one who should have acted as a light in the darkness, chose instead to walk in shadows. The law he upheld was clear, yet his heart turned cold. Then came a Levite, a man set apart for the service of the temple, a guardian of sacred things, entrusted with the traditions of worship and the care of holy duties. He saw the pain, he heard the groans, the evidence of suffering lay before him, undeniable and raw. For a moment, it seemed he might act, that his heart might stir with compassion. But doubt clouded his resolve. Perhaps he feared the same fate might befall him if he lingered too long. Perhaps the weight of responsibility felt too heavy for his hands to bear. And so he made his choice. He walked away, leaving the man behind. Compassion gave way to self-interest, and duty was overshadowed by hesitation. The Levite, like the priest before him, chose to preserve his own safety at the cost of another's suffering. And the road, once again, was silent. But then came a Samaritan, a man despised by the Jews, labeled an outsider, an enemy, unworthy of their respect. Yet, where others turned away, his heart was moved with compassion. He did not see a stranger defined by lineage or creed. He did not weigh the worthiness of the man before him. He saw only a fellow human in need and acted with mercy. His actions spoke louder than words. Where others saw inconvenience, he saw opportunity, a chance to extend love beyond boundaries, to embody mercy in its purest form. In that moment, the Samaritan became a living testament to the power of compassion. He showed that love knows no borders, no divisions, only the shared humanity that binds us all. At the inn, the Samaritan's compassion did not end. Though the road had been long and the burden heavy, he stayed through the night, tending to the man's wounds and ensuring his comfort. His care was unrelenting, his kindness unmeasured.
Take care of him. Here are 2 denarii. If you spend more, I will repay you when I return.
In giving, he held nothing back. The Samaritan offered not only his resources, but his time, his care, and his trust. His promise to return spoke of a love that was steadfast, a devotion that extended beyond obligation. He gave freely and fully, asking nothing in return. Through his actions, the Samaritan revealed the true meaning of neighborly love, a love without limits, without conditions, without boundaries.
Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers?
The one who showed mercy.
Go and do likewise.
Answer. The teacher revealed a truth that pierced through pride and prejudice. In a world divided by borders, enmity, and fear, he called his listeners to a higher standard, a love without limits, a service without bias, and a vision that saw all humanity as neighbors. Through the story of the Samaritan, the teacher showed that true greatness lies not in titles or positions, but in the boundless mercy we extend to one another. It was a call not merely to listen, but to act, to go and do likewise. 2,000 years later, the question remains: who is your neighbor? The answer lies not in words, but in deeds of mercy. Go and do likewise. So guys, if you like this type of content, you can click on the video shown to you now for more incredible Bible stories. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And once again, stay blessed.